xây tương thân tình trong đạo Phật, tùy khác màu nhưng một tôn sư. Hôm nay đây cùng nhau họp mặt, quyết noi theo đường Phật giáo Hoàng Dương.
Nam Mô A Di Đà Phật. Welcome to Some Đời Some Phật. On this special episode that we have during this Lunar New Year, otherwise known as Tet, I'm here with my Dharma brother, Nguyen, to join us from our talk, wishing you all a very special New Year. But first, can my brother Nguyen give any wishes and hopes for this Lunar New Year? Thank you very much.
Sure. Namo Bổn Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. First of all, today is almost New Year for the Lunar New Year, so I want to give my wishes to all the audience, to all the guests, for all the monks and nuns, everyone, a very happy New Year, and I wish you always be healthy, and your families always have live in compassion and loving kindness, and always respect each other and love each other, and your family prosperity always your number one priority.
Yeah, Nam Mô A Di Đà Phật. And as for myself, as we are transitioning from the year of the cat into the year of the dragon, as the dragon symbolizes the flow which is happening within this new year in 2024, I hope that as we transition into this next spring season, all of the family members, friends, audience members on IBC, I sincerely wish and pray that you meet this next year with much success, prosperity, joy, and may you also continue to watch this episode so that we may share some of our experience and insights into how we can practice in the Buddhist way for us to gain a much more happier, peaceful, and healthy new life. And so as I first bring into discussion to my brother, what are your thoughts and feelings about the people that come into this temple, both Yufap and Yungu and all others, and what do you have from your experience to share with them so that they can have a next year full of happiness, joy, and prosperity? Thank you.
So based on your question, each person who come to the temple for Yufap and Yungu, each person has a different perspective and the thought they expect to get out of the temple. So some people come to pray that you wish for the family to be healthy, and some people they wish to learn the Dharma from the masters, and some people they want to practice from the Dharma, the Buddha teachings. So, especially for the New Year, that people always come to the temple to make an offer and to pray so they can have a better year than the last year. And some people are kind of unfortunate on the 2023, because this year is the year of the dragon. So the dragon is represent for the wealth, health, and intelligence. So people in this year they come, they will especially pray to be more healthier and have a better life, better quality than last year. And people definitely they will invest the time more into practice Buddhism, and they wish to get a better knowledge out of it and a better practice. And
thank you. And so what I believe and feel that you said was that if many people coming into, whether it's our temple or other temples, many thousands, whether they're coming in ours or millions around the world wishing for a better new year, I believe that not only should you pray and wish fully well with all your heart, with incense, but from the Buddha's teachings, that's one portion through our thought and our speech level. The most important thing for us to generate success for ourselves is by putting it into action. And so once you have a goal for your family, for yourself, then you must know and create the steps needed next year for you to generate that. One of the greatest things that you can do, other than when we all wish for material and health and success, the best thing that you can do, other than working hard and studying hard, is to also spend time to visit any temple. You also should have a spiritual investment. If you come to any temple, whether it's here or there or wherever you are in the world, the best thing that you should know is to come to a place where you can center yourself and find some peace. If you find peace in the temple, if you find peace with any master or abbot of the temple, you can make yourself more available to practice chanting, praying, reciting the Buddha's name, coming for repentance each full moon to bow, and practice eating vegetarian. Maybe like every goal that we make isn't immediately having the results, but if you see coming to temple or exercising or going to school, if you put a little bit of time each day, the benefit won't be immediate, maybe not a week or a month, but many months from now, maybe even by the end of this year, any goals, dreams, hopes that you create, if you have a little bit of time, even once or twice a week, to visit the temple, a place of worship, then I guarantee that your new year will generate full of blessings, happiness, and joy. Because once you understand and open your mind and your heart to have the teachings of the Buddha, have it from understanding, you experience that within each level of action in your day. Once you create the actions, generate happiness, peace, and tranquility for yourself, you're able to transfer that into your family, your friends, and your work. And so you don't have to take my word for it, but if you take a risk, a challenge for you, not just coming to any temple for the next week in the new year, but challenging you hopefully to take the next steps further on, praying for the medicine Buddha and generating the merit. I hope that you can also sense that experience to find peace. And so going back into a question for my dear brother, if anybody wishes to understand how it is to generate peace for their life from either temple or their life, why is it important to come to the temple during the Tet holiday? What is the tradition and what is the culture behind that from your experience as a Vietnamese American?
Thank you, Venerable Auntie. Yes, so from my experience, since I live in Vietnam for at least 12 years, so from my experience, people on the New Year, they come to the temple. Priority, they always wish, like I say, to be healthier. But from my experience, I think they just want to come to the temple. Not only praying is the first step they take, but the second step, they should try to practice the Buddha teachings. Because when you practice it, that's the priority will guarantee to bring you a better life. Your life will be, the quality will be increased, will be enhanced. And with the practice, you will see your life like changing, like open a new door to a new path. So from my experience, people should come to the temple, not only praying, but they should practice and learn the Dharma. But of course, you need to have like a belief first. When you pray, it will increase your belief. And then after the belief, then you believe, with the belief you can do it, then you practice the teachings of the Buddha.
Thank you. I also not only wanted to extend the invitation to temples, but I also would like to share, coming also as a Vietnamese American, that from the meaning of the lunar holiday, and that isn't just a time that we spend in temple, but a very wonderful time we spend with our parents, with our ancestors, both our mother, our father, our grandparents, no matter which side. Before I spent time a little bit with my father's side, and later I spent time with my mother's side. And it is also a great opportunity not only to receive, material merit, we have a nice red envelope, but also is to eat the wonderful festive foods. And it is a time not only for that to be a day of a spiritual connection, but also our familial connection known as the Buddha's teaching of filial piety. And so if you wish to make any change in yourself and it's a temple, you also have to take time, respect, and see the great connections that you make every year, or hopefully you visit your parents and grandparents more if you're older in college, or older, where your parents are very weak and frail, I hope it is also a time for you to self-reflect and come into your own home as well, your parents' homes and your grandparents' homes, to have a day of full celebration and joy. And so spring is known as a spring full of bountiful bounty and full of a season where things are growing. And so usually during a harvesting season, spring is a great time for families and friends to gather together to eat festive foods like mantat and chương, and to also have a place where people recognize that it's not just a cultural thing, religious thing, but it is something that all people who follow, not just from Vietnam, but all over the world, people that respect the lunar calendar, have a place for that, to have a day of full festivities and fun. And so I have maybe time for a final question, in that from your experience in temple and in your family, is there any other kind of thoughts that you had in particular about anything in your mind that you would like to share or give from your experience from being a Vietnamese American? And if you would like, you can also speak in Vietnamese or English, whatever you continue to be comfortable.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Well, so far, from the experience I have, being in the temple is very, change my perspective. I see a different way. I see things that increase my belief, and I see on new things. Basically, a lot of new things I experience. I'll just add a few more details in what you say. That's very interesting. Like what you say, it's very absolutely correct. But I'll just add a few more. The New Year is also where people they sort of can connect with the family again, like you say, because a lot of people they work from far away from home. So the New Year is on the year, like just how American New Year, they gather the family together. So in the Lunar New Year, or the family, the son, daughter, they can see the family, so can connect the spirit of the family with the ancestor. Because in the New Year, they always clean up the house, they prepare for the new things. So the spiritual, so they can connect again to be wholesome. So they can learn from, they share all the news, the good news, the bad news for the whole year, so they can make it different. And it's from my experience to my family also. So when they come to the temple, sometimes they share with me the thing they learned from this year for the benefit for themselves, and I also learn from them. So that's just how we connect with each other, so we can understand each other more with the family, so we can have more compassion to other people in the family.
Thank you very much from sharing your personal story. And so from what I gathered from that, a big time is to help clean the house, make sure everything is neat and tidy, and transitioning into the new year, we have a place of cleanliness, not only in our space, but also for temple, having a cleanliness in our mind. So both having the two together, once we have a clean room, a clean mind, that is a great space for us to transition into a new year, where going high hopes for the future. We wish for anyone that's having a wonderful year in 2023 to continue to have a very great year in 2024. And anyone that is having difficulties in 2023, I sincerely hope and pray that in the next year, in 2024, that those challenges that you have will create a way for you to continue to grow and to learn from, and to use that experience into your next transition into 2024. And most of all of you that are watching, I hope that you're watching this during this Lunar New Year, and that all of you are with your family or your friends and can generate so much joy for each other as a place for you to be safe, full of peace, and full of happy, full of the presence with each other. And so, are there any final wishes and hopes that you have, brother, to send off to the audience?
Yeah, as my brother Andrew said it, so for the new year, I wish you all have a happy life, and always please come to the temple and learn the Dharma so you can have a better life, so you can improve, make everything better for yourself, and to purify your mind and cleanse your everything you can, and to make it prepare for the new year.
There's another aspect of that I wanted to talk about, and we also often say in Vietnamese, mùa xuân y lạc, and so it's the springtime of the future Buddha, or the Maitreya Buddha, which is the future Buddha. And so my question first in our discussion is, why in our Vietnamese culture do we call it the new year or the springtime of the Maitreya Buddha? Thank you.
And thank you, Venerable Auntie. So for the Lunar New Year, why we call it the Maitreya New Year? Because according to the Buddha, he said in the very, very distant future, a bodhisattva will descend to the earth realm, and he will become the Buddha called Maitreya, in Vietnamese called Đức Phật Di Lặc. So, as a future Buddha, he will revise all the Dharma, and then he will to liberate all the suffering, just like how the Sakyamuni Buddha did. So that's in the future he will teach the Dharma again and start from the beginning, so people can have a better understanding. That's why it's called him the future Buddha Maitreya. Also on the New Year, it's his birthday.
Thank you very much for sharing with me the history of the future Buddha, Maitreya Buddha, y lạc. And so I just wanted to say a few things to add of what the symbol of the Maitreya Buddha means and when he will appear. Well, even though his birth is destined to come during the spring season or the season of renewal, it is only when the time of Dharma is completely ending, even when no being in this world even knows how to chant the Amitabha Buddha's name, when everyone even forgets to recite Namo A Di Đà Phật, is the time when Dharma is completely over. And so don't be afraid that the Dharma is ending, because of us monks still practicing. We hope that at least for the next thousand years, Buddhism still remains. But in billions of years from now, maybe in this world, as Buddhism is completely gone, Dharma is completely gone, then Maitreya will rise during spring, and he will give us the great gifts, the great precious gem of the Dharma. And so every time, even though he will not appear pretty soon, we always expect during this time to reflect, to see the great virtues of Maitreya Buddha, or y lạc. You see him outside many temples, or even within your own house, a very heavy, big Buddha. And so this Buddha is always giving great smiles. And so you see his great joy, his great knowledge, and prosperity that he brings. He would bring prosperity into the time when we're all in conflict, full of greed, anger, and ignorance. We will start so many wars, and it'll be a time when he comes to this world when there's going to be another great change and transition, just like the historical Shakyamuni Buddha, which was alive 2,500 years ago in this world, continuing to be present to give us the teachings passed on all this time. In the future, as we continue to be patient, generating patience is a great virtue as a bodhisattva. We learn to see this patience as something as a great virtue. We learn to see that every year, sometimes when we don't see prosperity, happiness, or joy happening immediately, we soon be very discouraged. And through that discouragement, we soon become bitter. And that bitterness can turn into resentment, and that resentment can turn into either self-hatred, depression, or anger. But if we allow the virtue of patience to arise, to see every springtime we are filled with joy, especially full of joy from hopefulness, we are able to see that any moment is a new season of change, especially during the springtime when there's a lot of change happening. Things are coming into the dead, into fall coming from all the trees, and as we transition into winter, into spring, things suddenly come alive. And so I see as a representation of Ilak Bodat or Maitreya Bodhisattva or Maitreya Buddha, it is also for you to see during springtime that even when this world is so cold, dark, seems dead, there's a time for there to be renewal, rebirth, and life takes shape. And when you see outside in nature life taking shape, all the beautiful flowers and decorations that are in your house, in the temple, you see inside yourself through your whole life that you also have a potential for change. And so as the Maitreya Buddha has the representation of a future Buddha, also recognize into yourself that you are also a potential of change, a potential of a future Buddha yourself. And so continuing to believe in yourself, continuing to believe into spring can have a great time for you to practice Buddhism. And so is there any other kind of things that you would like to talk about Maitreya Buddha, or the change or renewal that we experienced during the Lunar New Year that you want to share for others to notice change in life and positive changes for themselves to live?
Absolutely, yes, Venerable Auntie. For Maitreya, I believe for each culture, they have a different feature, but there's one unique feature on the face. He's always smile. He always have a compassion. Always will bring joy and happiness. So it's like a reflection of ourselves when we observe the Maitreya features. We always practice like him, like he always being happy, always joyful, and always bring happiness to ourselves, to other people, so we can understand the love and kindness and altruism, and with all this happiness, always have a better life, a better future for everyone. And that's all I want to ask. Thank you very much, Venerable.
Thank you very much. And so thank you for sharing. The biggest feature that you notice in this new year and within Ilak Bodat or Maitreya Buddha is that great smile. And so I hope that you can continue when you come in your house or temple, you can generate a great smile for all your friends, your family in temple. And then you see that practice as you carry that smile all throughout your days during the Lunar New Year. But even when times are difficult and you have to apply patience in life, continue to give a very graceful smile and continue doing so that you may generate not only kindness and happiness for yourself. Through that action, you generate compassion for others. Even if you're very poor, have no material, have nothing to give, you still have your body. And this body you're able to one day control your mind and your action. And so no matter where you are, rich or poor, status high or low, if you share a smile for others, not only will it brighten their day, but you receive the gift for yourself from their well wishes. And so once again, during this Lunar New Year time on IBC TV on Sunday Samphut, I very sincerely wish you all a great smile, happiness, prosperity, and may the smiles and wishes you generate within the temple be spread to all others, family, friends, all beings across this world and universe. And so, once again, thank you for joining us on Sunday Samphut. Namo Ayurveda.